on everyone? Big Bob with the Road King Nation. We're back in the Inland Empire. We're here with Dago Dane engraving. You guys stay tuned. King life.
It's a blessing, you know.
Yeah.
Every day. So. Another job where I worked at a shipyard, and I was there for a long time. I started about the same time I started tattooing, so I would do that and tattoo. So it was constant juggle with time, and it was just hard. So I came up on some money, and I bought all my equipment, and I had everything. My plan was to buy all this shit, so I had to do it. You know, I didn't just, you know, it wasn't just like whatever. I had all this stuff sitting, waiting. So my plan was to quit my job and start engraving, and that's exactly what I did. And I'm blessed to be able to do it now. You know, it actually really came true. Yeah, I'm blessed to be able to work from home. I've done my fair share of commuting, and I hate traffic with a passion.
Yeah.
So I wake up, come downstairs, drink my coffee, and just get my day started and start doing whatever I got to do.
Dago Dane, thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for coming.
So you were talking earlier, and you only been engraving for about 2 years, roughly?
Yeah, not even 2 years yet, I don't think. It's about 2 years, but it's going good. It's going good. I can't complain. It's going real well, actually. So.
And you're keeping busy, obviously?
Yeah, I'm really busy. Jobs after jobs, and you know, I'm blessed to be where I'm at right now.
Now, this bike, you guys, if you guys are seeing, we'll get some more roll later, but this is actually going to Australia, correct?
Yes, pretty much all done now. What I have to do to it, this is all extra stuff, but I did a lot of the accent pieces for the motor also. Those are in the other room, but these are the wheels. They just got done being put back together. It's a big process to do all this stuff, but frame's done and the wheels are done, the swing arm is done on it, so. My job is done. Now they just got to put it all back together. So. And
then you ship it back as is, and they complete it.
Yeah, there's a shop in Australia that's going to be doing the rest of the work for the customer. I wrap it up, put it in the crate and everything, and ship it back. Call FedEx and have them pick it up.
Do you get a lot of overseas jobs?
Yeah. Australia, Spain, Japan,
wow,
Philippines. I mean. And all over the United States too.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It's going good, man. I'm happy. I'm blessed.
Now, so you've been doing this for 2 years, and you were tattooing before.
Yeah, I've been tattooed for 15 years now.
Wow.
So it's kind of goes hand in hand. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's just like tattooing." It's not like tattooing. It's different. The only thing that's the same is basically. When you want the machine to go, you step on the pedal. That's it. Everything else, holding the machine, everything is different than tattooing. It's
really?
Not the same, yeah. It's all different.
Is it heavier?
No, it's not heavier. It's just different. You hold it like this, and a tattoo machine you hold like this basically. So it's just a different motion. You know, it's a chisel, so you're basically carving the metal. So it's not like carving skin. You just It's different. It's different.
So is it like some of the tattoos I have? You go deep and
sometimes different metals you got to go deeper and take a little bit more time with it. Steel is obviously harder than aluminum, so it takes a little bit more time. And when you're doing different metals and stuff, you can chip the bit when you're doing harder metals, like when you do firearms and stuff. Okay. The metal's harder than, say, like a differential cover or derby covers for parts. They're softer, so it just depends on what you're doing. You got to kind of adapt to what you're doing. So. And
obviously, doing it, you have to know what you're. Like what chisels, or was it chisels?
Yeah, they're called graver bits, but you could sharpen them different angles, different degrees to get wider cuts and different lines, and there's different things to it.
So you actually sharpen them?
Yeah, I have a sharpener.
Oh, wow. We'll check that out in a little bit too.
Yeah. So I usually use the same engraver bit on a lot of my things, unless I'm doing like really smaller things like a tattoo machine or like a smaller firearm or smaller pieces on guns, or I do a lot of paintball guns. Actually, it's a big thing now. But
Customized paintball, engraved paintball guns?
just like guns, they do.
Really?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of those. Yeah,
That's awesome.
The kids love them, so they it's good. It's good for them. But for smaller parts, you don't do smaller bits. But mainly, I use the same one.
Yeah.
For a lot of stuff.
Now, do you mainly do motorcycles, or is that like the chunk of your work, or is it just all over?
All over, from motorcycle parts to Harley parts to street bike parts to a lot of firearms, car parts, paintball guns. I've done hair clippers. I've done all kinds of stuff.
Camera lenses, I've seen that.
Did that, yeah.
Like what do you call the lenses? Yeah.
Yep, I've done those.
I don't know if you guys can see the shotgun, but that's his.
Yeah, that. And here's a differential cover. Also, this is done. But it's endless with things you can do.
Would you say it's easier than tattooing, or would you say or tattooing's easier?
It's
time. What's more time consuming? I guess I would ask.
Engraving is more time consuming. It's kind of hard to compare it to tattooing because it's just different. It's different art.
No, but you have to have the mind frame. You have to be an artist though to be able to engrave.
Yeah, you
right?
have to.
You can't just jump on a gun.
You have to be able to vision it done before you even start it. So
Okay.
it's like that with a tattoo. When you're doing tattooing, you have to know what you're doing, execute it, and get it done correctly, and within a good time.
Right.
So it's the same thing with this. You have to basically, for like this piece, I draw it all freehand with a Sharpie marker. So
Wow.
you have to just basically picture how you want it to be, and it has to be able to fill this spot up too. So you can't just do like a little one here. You have to make sure you proportion it correctly.
Right.
So you have to plan it all out. Like for doing the wheels, you do the border lines, and then you start doing the big scroll work, and then you do all the fine details in with it too. So.
Now, have you ever done like pictures or I don't know, like artwork? Can you do that with engraving?
Yeah. I've done Jesus. I've done crosses. I've done lettering, all kinds of lettering, praying hands, stuff like that. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Still tattoo?
Yeah, I still tattoo. Not as much as I used to, because this is a little bit more time consuming. But I still tattoo. I try to keep it. I try to balance it out. I don't want to just engrave because it gets overwhelming, or just tattoo. I kind of try to mix it up to keep things fresh.
Right. And then if you don't tattoo, you'll maybe where you lose like a little bit of the I don't want to say lose, but you like you said, keep it fresh.
Yeah,
as long as you do it, you're still practicing. You're still practicing art and all that.
Yeah, you got to stay fresh on everything, So I kind of try to do a couple tattoos a week if possible, and try to fit in my schedule. Depends what I'm doing and if I'm around or if I'm traveling, or it depends.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask is, how did you get started? Because you've been tattooing for 15 years, right? Mm-hmm. So how did you get started from tattooing 15 years, doing well, to all of a sudden now you wanted to engrave?
I bought my first Harley, I'd say 12 years ago or 13 years ago, and I started building that one. And I've always been intrigued by it, by the art and everything. So I always wanted to do it, So just from starting building bikes, I kind of evolved to that. And then I met my buddy Hernan from Engrave It, and he kind of put me on game with all this stuff. And then he taught me basically the basics to all this. And it basically snowballs from there, and now I'm here.
And this is what you do for a living, right?
Yeah, I work from home.
That's the man right there. His shop is in his house, and we'll give you guys a little glimpse of it in a little bit, but this is where he does all the magic, man.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be able to work from home. I've done my fair share of commuting, and I hate traffic with a passion.
Yeah.
So I wake up, come downstairs, drink my coffee, and just get my day started and start doing whatever I got to do.
So tell them about you bought your stuff a year before you even started engraving, right? Because you wanted out
Yeah, I used to have another job where I worked at a shipyard, and I was there for a long time. About the same time I started tattooing, so I would do that and tattoo. So it was a constant juggle with time, and it was just hard. So I came up on some money and I bought all my equipment and I had everything. My plan was to buy all this shit, so I had to do it. You know, I didn't just, it wasn't just like whatever. I had all this stuff sitting, waiting. So my plan was to quit my job and start engraving, and that's exactly what I did. And I'm blessed to be able to do it now. It actually really came true. So it's doing.
Your determination and hard work is real.
Yeah.
You said, you heard it right there. You heard it right there.
Yeah, it is. It's very true. I never in my wildest dreams would think I'd be tattooing and engraving right now and making a living and being successful at it.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. It's a blessing,
Yeah.
every day. So I'm grateful.
So with you working at home, that has to be, for one, you got to be motivated, I imagine.
Yes.
Two, do you ever come down and in the morning, you're like, oh man, you drink your coffee, you're like,
Yeah, there's mornings that I'll get a later start than normal, but I try to be motivated and, have self-discipline, and I try not to get distracted. I try to get my coffee, do what I gotta do, come out here and just get started before I get distracted with something else at the house or with one of the cars or motorcycles or whatever. But I try to stay focused on my job and at least put in a certain amount of hours a day before I start fucking around with everything.
Right.
And
so if you start to have those, because I know we all have them, those couple days you miss, does it get? Are you missing? I would say missing. What's the word? It starts to pile up, and then you feel like stressed or overwhelmed when you gotta.
Yeah, that's kind of you learn from that. So in the beginning when I started doing this, I would take a day off or whatever, but I have jobs that need to get done, so I have to remind myself that I need to do this, and I kind of try to keep it organized, like jobs like, okay, I need to finish this week, and try to keep a schedule and just set goals through the week. So try to finish this job, get it shipped out or get it chromed or shipped back to the guy or the customer. So it's a constant struggle, but it's a good struggle because it's work that, it's just work. So
and like for myself, for this year, I've never done like a planner, and I'm writing down my goals at least daily or weekly. And for me, that's a new discipline. I'm having a hard time, but I'm chipping away. It's probably the same. You got to discipline. To keep at it. I imagine
it's always it's a full-time job.
This is your livelihood, right?
Yeah. If I don't do this, we don't eat.
Right.
So
that's the man right there. So take a note. Dago Dane, Instagram at Dago Dane. So what big projects? Do you have any big projects coming up or anything?
Shit. Just nothing crazy right now. This was one of the bigger ones that we just finished. So this is done. But I have a bunch of other jobs, setups. I'm doing a setup for a lowrider right now on Cadillac. I just finished his hydraulic setup for the trunk.
Nice.
We're finishing up his A-arms and a bunch of stuff. I did the grill. I did, this is actually the rear differential cover for that car. Handles. And then he's sending me his rear end, the whole rear end.
Wow.
So that's going to get done. Just a bunch of jobs. I do a lot of firearms also. So I have a good amount of those lined up, need to be done. A lot of things going on.
How would you rate your work compared to someone else's, if you can?
We have there's other engravers that are out there, they have different styles. They don't go as deep, some go deeper, some go like how I do it. It's just personal preference of customers. A lot of people you'll get the customers that are the cheap customers that want to, they'll go for the cheaper price. But it is what it is. You're going to get that with everything, with clothing, with, art, tattooing. You have artists out there that don't charge as much, and people go with them because they're cheaper. But there's other people out there that pay for the quality and they like the art. So they will go with that certain person because they like their style. And the way they do things, the way they execute things, the way they do business, There's a lot of different things that come into play with it.
Right.
So it's just personal preference, I think it is, and especially like when I've known from engraving now, I've seen some people they'll get some cheaper parts for things, like they'll go with the other cheaper guy, and then they'll have someone else engrave some other parts, but their engraving doesn't match on their car or their bike or something, and to them it doesn't matter, but it's kind of like a pet peeve almost to me, because it's like having a paint job on a car and then you have someone else do patterns on the car and then do the patterns on the hood and they don't match.
So when you said that, I was wondering, so script, or what do you call that?
Scroll work.
Scroll isn't scroll. And that's your style in a sense.
There's different ways you go. You can intertwine it. You can do different, a lot of times you can do different backgrounds, like people call it like a frost, or versus like the dots like this. I do both. Mainly like on bigger parts on cars and stuff, I do the dots in the background, and then like firearms and like paintball guns, I do the frost background, just because it's a little bit more intricate and detailed, I think, but I like it better, the dots on like the bigger parts, like how these are. But I can do either way. There's certain engravers that just do dots, and then there's certain engravers that just do the frost, but I kind of try and keep it mixed with the way I do it. And then like if I do like a derby cover with like a design on it, I mix them. I'll do the frost on certain things, and then I'll do the dots on the background part too, just to kind of make it pop a little bit more.
Like that California one, we posted up on Tales of the King. If you guys see it, the California.
Yeah, the inner part has the frost, and then the outer part with the scroll work is dots.
So that the frost part, that's actually is that like dotted, or
that's with the, you use the same chisel machine but a different bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically like a little jackhammer. You hold it like a little jackhammer, and it just hits the metal and it makes these little dots. So.
What? How do you see the future of engraving? Like, where do you see? Well, do you see yourself continue this for the long haul?
Yes, I do. My plan is to get into more of the firearms with like gold inlaying and stuff like that. That's where my vision is. I'm always going to be into bikes and cars because that's just how I grew up when I was a kid. That's why I'm where I'm at right now. Like, there's actually this picture right here. That's a picture of my lowrider bike when I was a kid.
Wow.
That was probably, I was probably about 14. I'm 36 right now, so you do the math. But that right there is kind of what got me into all of this. You know, it's my mom taking me to the lowrider shows when I was a kid. You know, and me seeing all this stuff, and that's why I'm at where I'm at right now with everything. From a kid, I've been into it. So I'll always be into motorcycles. So I'm probably always going to be doing this kind of stuff. But my main goal is to get more into the firearms with really fine detailed stuff. So that's where I'm headed.
Change the game.
Yeah.
Make it Dago Dane style.
Yeah. Yeah.
You heard it here first. And how do you feel about the whole culture as a whole, though, as far as like the whole engraving game as a whole? Do you think it's going to be something that's going to grow? Is it will it stay a small community, or will it expand to like commercial?
It's growing and growing. It's like with anything with lowriders and stuff like that. You just have to step your game up. Nowadays, you have to. I mean, people build cars without engraving and stuff, which is cool. That's more my style, anyways. I like accent pieces. I'm not a big fan. Like my style. Everything engraved, like the whole bumpers and stuff like that. I do it, but for my personal things, I like to just make it more classy and just nice little pieces to set it off. But I see it growing and growing. If you don't have engraving at a car show on your car's, you know, there's nothing.
It's just another lowrider almost.
Exactly. You know, kind of engraving kind of sets the car apart with personalizing it a little bit, and that's when I go back to like with personal ways of the way the engravers do certain things. Like they change the way the car looks. You know, they do different things. Like you said, artwork on pieces and stuff. That kind of is going that direction. Before, you wouldn't see too much like art pieces or, you know, drawing on with an engraver before. It was just scroll work, and it was all the same. So now there's more engravers out there now. So now they're doing different styles. It's cool to see different ways people doing certain things, and it just personalizes the car or the motorcycle or whatever.
Yeah. I always feel like you probably being one of the, from what I know, I don't know much about engraving, but the homework I've done, you seem to be one of the more, I don't want to say popular, but better engravers. And to me, I always felt like anyone that kind of started doing, like in this case, engraving, you're probably like one of the, how would I say it? You're not new. So as the years go, all these new guys are becoming, but I feel like anyone who started in the beginning of a trend always stays on top as long as you keep pushing. Yeah, you have to stay on the grind all the time. Like I'm a rookie at this, basically is the way I look at it. I mean, because there's guys been doing this for 20 years. Like my friend Hernan from Engraving, he taught me. So I owe a lot to him. There's other engravers out there too that are doing it. They've been doing it as long as him too, but it's been around that long?
Yeah, he's been around for at least 20 years. So I'm a rookie at it. You know, I'm blessed to be where I'm at. I'm just getting started though. You know, this is just the beginning. So I'm blessed to be able to do what I do and enjoy it. And I was kind of, I don't want to say thrown into this, but I learned, and I knew a good amount of people from prior to doing this, like with tattooing and being in the car scene and all that motorcycle scene. So it helped me out a lot because a lot of people already knew me. And I think it goes a long way with character. If you're not a fucking asshole, basically,
I agree
people
with that.
appreciate that nowadays more than they did back in the day.
Right.
It's just character. You know, if you're a good person and you do good things, the way I look at things is, if you're a good person and you do good things are going to happen to you. You know, it's karma. That's the way I look at things anyway. So I try to live by that every day. So I'm blessed, and there's people that are good, and then it also takes like a hustle too. I mean, if you could be the best artist, and if you don't hustle, if you don't put yourself out there, no one's gonna see your work. Right. You know, and there's great artists out there that don't do that, and they're sinking. You know, they don't make money. They don't. You know, you have to put yourself out there, or no one's gonna see you. So I want to touch on something fast, because we own Bonehead Inc., which is a clothing brand, Bonehead INC. You guys should know that. But I've been writing all my life, and I never did shows. I didn't want to do shows. I didn't care. I just wanted to write. Yeah. Well, we started the brand. You have to do shows in the beginning. So when you said you were already known in the scene, I realized that, like, wow, no one knew who we were, and we had to build who we were. Yeah. So when people say, like you just said, you know, you were in, to me that's real. I've seen it. Like, I'm like, we'd be at shows and people would be like, who's that? And I'm like, oh, you know, now we're known, but that, to me, that's huge. And I didn't realize that because I never did shows. And it definitely helped me out, because people helped me. They knew who I was, so it kind of definitely helped out a lot with everything, right? Promotion and with support, you know, stuff like that. I'm from San Diego, so I'm from tribal gear, tribal clothing. So with that being said, like, I do a lot of traveling, so I meet a lot of people, and it's just networking. It's definitely helped out a lot. Awesome. So it's like a snowball effect. Well, there it is, you guys, man. Dago Dane, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Bikes, rims, engines, car motors, car rims, car frames. Also, Dane is FFL certified. So all you firearm owners, this is the man you want to come to. We appreciate you guys tuning in to another Tales of a King. We'll see you guys soon. King Life.